Good morning and good afternoon to all of our wonderful real estate training by davidknox.com members, subscribers. Thank you very much for joining me. We are off to a really fun session today. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. For those of you in the US, Canadians, you had it way ahead of time. You're always ahead of us on that. So I hope you're back from a relaxing weekend, ready to kick off the rest of 2014 and have a rocking December. As we have our guest speaker today, I want to make sure you can find the area for doing your questions. I am recording this webinar right now and make it available later. So thank you very much for joining. We have a record attendance today. Before we begin, mark your calendars for our next First Monday Administrator webinar, which we're going to kick off 2015, Monday, January 5th, 2015, same time. Today, I'll talk a little bit about our 2014 videos, a few quick ideas on viewership, and then I'm very, very excited to have you join our guest presenter, Marilyn Eiland, as she talks about how to kick your agents off in the first 40 days. So let's get to it. Knox First Tuesday, excuse me, number 81 is called Fundamental Focus. It's actually in two parts. It came out at 17 minutes, so we divided it into two parts. And the reason for this, I talked to a lot of people who were saying, hey, the markets are just changing a little bit. In some areas, they've slowed a bit. And I was talking with one lady, head of a big company in Minneapolis, says, this isn't slow, this is normal. We've had so many crazy markets, buyer market, seller market, high financing, can't get it at all. And all of a sudden, we're into something that for many people may just be stability. So I thought I would address that and do kind of an end of the year reminder on fundamentals, getting back to the basics. So I hope you enjoy that video. Some of the early comments have been pretty good on it. Remind you again, the Kaylor Bortnick interview, all 5 parts are up. Real Estate Live number 23-1 through 5. And you can see they're all reasonably timed out, 11, 12 minutes all the way down the line. And I'll tell you what, to get a chance to hear two ladies talk about how they and their team created $233 million worth of business, I think that's some pretty powerful stuff. Got a letter from Alexander Chandler, who had a new agent. He sat down on the new agent and watched 50 videos. And he sold 10 homes in his first 12 months. And then he talked about another one that went on. And if they watch the videos, they'll make money. It's that simple. So remember, there's ways to get people to watch our videos. Sales meetings, I think the individual login, no one should rely upon that. I think we've learned that over the years. Sales meetings, rookie workshops. A lot of our members do experienced agent lunch and learns. We have one company that does Thursday Rocks with David Knox, whatever you want, and have a 1-hour video or 1-hour meeting with your top agents, get beverages and pizza, show a 10, 12, 15-minute video. You know that we have built some multi-week targeted courses. We have one on listings and one on prospecting. During a recruiting interview, this is a great time. If you're sitting across from a recruit who's thinking of joining your company, you ask the recruit, hey, what are your challenges in training you think you're going to have? Well, we hope you have training. What do you have? And you have them actually log in, show them the interface, and have them do a search for some topic. Watch the videos come up. Let them drive the mouse, click play, and play a video. And I can't tell you how many people have come up to me and said, wow, we convert them. In fact, be careful. Make sure you want to hire this person. Otherwise, they get all excited, and then you have to say, nah, here's all the training you're not going to get because you're not coming. Along those same lines, if you want to give what I call a day pass to a potential recruit, log them in, log them out, let them check out the videos. For your agents, log on mobily, iPhone, check out some videos right before listing. We talked about custom curriculum and then assigning training tracks. And again, I'm doing, I think I'm getting Skyped into some meetings this week where if you give me a little bit of notice, I'll just Skype in, you show the computer in front of your group, and I just say good morning. I thank the agents and sell them on some of the videos, and I'll kick off the meeting, and I'll make sure that they thank you for providing the training. I'll do a webinar conference call. Also, have some of our clients bring me in for live seminars. We did quite a few of those. And if you've got a key training person that you'd like me to talk to and coach, I'm happy to do that. And now for the fun part, Marilyn Eiland, partner of Better Homes and Gardens, Real Estate Gary Greene. As you can see, Marilyn began training new agents with a national franchise in '78. Then she joined Gary Greene as her trainer in 1980, and she served as general manager until acquiring the company with their partner, Mark Woodruff, in 2000. And I've had the chance to work with their company a number of times, and they're just a great group of people. And Marilyn continues to participate in the company Fast Start Training, Leadership Development Academy, and the Power Up New Agent Orientation. And Gary Greene is 50-year-old brokerage serving Greater Houston, wonderful place. She's got 20. She and Mark have 20 offices, and the company has 955 full-time agents. And in 2013, generated over $2.6 billion in sales and listings sold. They've been a member of our training for quite some time. And Marilyn, I am happy to have you join me. And we have to go through a couple of things here to make you the presenter. So if you'll all bear with me, I'm going to go down. Marilyn, I am making you the presenter.
Got it.
Marilyn, how are you?
I'm fine, David. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I really, really appreciate you doing this for us today and sharing what you do with training, because I know training is really, really important to you. And I think the ideas you have are going to be great for all these people kicking off their new ages. So, Marilyn, the show is all of yours. Oh, one more thing. And for those of you tuning in, if you've got some questions for her as we get towards the end, I'm going to take a look at those and I'll give them back to Marilyn. So, Marilyn, welcome aboard.
Thank you, David. And hearing that pitch for the use of those videos, Gary Greene, we use so many of your videos, and it's certainly part of this 40-day program that I was going to run through. So we always like having those videos.
Thank you.
So I've been asked to talk about the first 40 days and making those days count. And, you know, that pretty well sounds like a little dramatic. 40 days has a lot of other connotations. But, in fact, having done this as long as I have to say that I truly believe that those first days are key to setting all the expectations of what a new associate must do and what they must know so that they can make a living in real estate. And I also think that this beginning is the way we get them comfortable so they can absorb what they need to know and figure out how to use it and where to use it and who to use it on. So that's why I zeroed in and made this about those first 40 days. So in looking at just a snapshot in the first 40 days, there needs to be orientation that is organized and systematic, training that is presented in adult formats. I'll put a little point in here. Our new associates are not baby agents. They are new professionals. Accountability is defined and accepted by a new agent. It has to be agreed by both. Coaching to a mutually decided business plan, practicing dialogues and presentations to grow confidence, and getting the contact list loaded and get them on the phone. Just to give you a little, I don't know, maybe part bragging, part credentials, but we are huge believers in the value of new agents at Gary Greene. That has always been our passion, to watch them grow. And so with huge effort this year and focus, we've actually recruited 377 new agents this year. 136 were experienced agents. So what I'm going to be talking about is what we've been doing with the 241 of them that came to Gary Greene brand spanking new. 32 of those, might as well tell you the whole story, right? 32 of those have already terminated, so they came and went in the same year. 59 of them have taken at least one listing. And, of course, some of these have only been with us a month because I'm giving you the statistics for the year. 59 of them have taken one listing at least. So this group has created 131 listings. 91 of these new associates have pinned at least one transaction. And so our new group of associates throughout Gary Greene have generated 282 transactions. So maybe I'm giving you the reason I think I have the right, But I do have an opinion, which all of my guys listening would certainly say happens quite often. But I do have an opinion on the 40 days. And I am collecting information from the database and the things that we are able to put together now to study, um, so that I can maybe prove my theory. But to share with you what I believe a good balance on this 40 days must be made between the learning and training and the coaching and the doing. And that there has to be a balance in each of these 40 days of all those things. The second belief I hold deep in my heart is that new agents need to have a first transaction and a listing under their belt as soon as possible, as absolutely soon as possible. And I think that I can even show some correlation to the increased probable success if that happens. And I think the reason I think that's true is because when you have your first transaction, it just creates a lot of confidence. And that confidence is going to carry you through the tough times. Second reason, it creates some money, and everyone knows it's a terribly expensive business to enter and often not an expected expense for the new associates. The third reason I think a transaction as soon as possible matters is there's a lot of pride. You've had a new agent, I mean, their coolest, favoriteest thing to do is go up to the board and write their new listing themselves. There's so much pride in that first transaction. And that goes with the fourth thing, which I put was peace in the family. Our new agents, think about what they're going home. They go home every night, and their significant other says, "Did you sell anything today?" So all those reasons, we want to be careful we're not spending too much time helping them get ready, but let's help them to go. Now, it's not a good thing to start with negatives. I understand that. But I would say from that group I just showed you that if we can keep a third to a half of those agents who join us as brand new associates, and they can become productive, happy, client-centered partners with Better Homes and Gardens, Gary Greene, it would be a total home run. But there are reasons and things that seem to interfere with that. And I'm listing them for you because, not to start with the negative, but I think if we kind of know the pitfalls, if we kind of recognize what those reasons are, maybe we can do a better job of overcoming these things. Or if we can't overcome these things, then maybe we can do a better job of quickly promoting them to another company. And I'll tell you, I heard some of these as our new associates have introduced themselves to the group in our Fast Start program. I've heard some of them give these as their explanations of why they were there. So number 10, they always just wanted to try real estate. Number 9, they just love looking at houses. Get them over that. Number 8, they had a great agent, and they made it look so easy. And then that agent got a great big check. And number 7, they chose real estate so they could choose their own hours and have lots of free time. Number 6, they were overwhelmed by the complexity of the business. And that's an easy one to understand. Number 5, some people just cannot seem to accumulate enough confidence. Number 4, they figured out after a few weeks they were actually going to have to build their own business, and we weren't just going to spoon feed it to them. Number 3, they're actually embarrassed to talk to their very own friends about the business or to ask for business or ask for a referral. And the number 2, they underestimated the cost, and they just ran out of money. Had to go get a real job. And the number one reason that I think the new recruit may be in the wrong business, we hired the wrong person. I've spent a lot of time looking at this. In fact, this hired the wrong person. Boy, if we could figure it out. Don't you all agree? If we could just figure it out. So in an interview, we just never did that. But it's not that easy to spot in an interview, and it's not that easy to know who the right person is. I think it's an important thing that we work from these things so that we do a better job. So, my thoughts. The first 40 days have to start with the perfect orientation. This may seem so obvious to you, and I'm emphasizing the need for orientation because in this fast start, in this new agent, I meet these new people, you meet these new people, and you've all seen that deer in the headlights look. It is overwhelming. This isn't your daddy's real estate business. This today is complicated and it is overwhelming. And especially the young associates we are hiring, they want a system. They want a track to run on. They want a box for it to fit in. They want to know, what do I do first? What do I do second? What do I do third? And because we know these things will be taken care of in time, we have a tendency to treat orienting them to the business as, pop by the office, I'll give you a couple things. Here's a phone number. We've evolved to having lovely checklists. These are the things you have to do. You have to set up your contact list. You have to go get your lockbox key. You have to pay your board dues. You have to join MLS. You've got to get your information to the corporate office. We go through a checklist. But what I am proposing to you to do a better job with your first 40 days is create something very systematic and organized. Create a packet, put it in writing, everything in writing. For example, picking up a lockbox key. It isn't just a checklist item. You're going to tell them where to get the key, when to get the key, who to talk to when they get to the board office to get that key, how much will that key cost. Everything is in writing and in this packet so they can hold on to it, so they can take it home and show that they have a real job and that these are the things that they do. So to me, this is like a stage setter that you're beginning to train their minds. There are systems, there are procedures. I do have knowledge that you need, and I just think the whole thing is packaged very neatly in something called orientation. You need to set the appointment as soon as possible with them. Let them know that this meeting is for their orientation. I say ask them to block an hour so that they recognize. Now, when we're all doing the orientation of the office, here's where you sit, here's where the copier is, here's your key, here's Susie, here's Bobby. But I am suggesting even in this packet that they have a photograph, they put a picture in there of the administrator, put a picture of the receptionist, of the coach, the people they're going to be involved with, and what are the roles. Put that all in writing for them to hand them that very first day. It's amazingly comforting for them. My second thought is on the business of training, which, of course, as you could tell, is my love, has always been my passion from the very beginning, and that is how I stepped into the leadership roles. Training's got to be presented in bite-sized pieces, and it needs to be laced with a little dash of role play and a few activities. It's overwhelming, as I said, but these are adults that we are training. And adults have to experience a need to learn. They have to understand why it is they are being presented this information. They want this information to solve real-life tasks or problems. Well, obviously, we recognize they're going to have plenty of real-life tasks and real-life problems as we go through all the material that we want to train them to do. But we have to recognize until they have a hook to hang it on in their head, until they know this is a thing I need to know and here is why, it's too early to present the material. The way we do our training at Gary Greene is the bite-sized piece theory. Our training is every Thursday and Friday, pretty much every week of the year. And in each of these Thursday, Friday modules, we cover one specific topic. For example, we cover listings in one of the modules, and contracts in one of the modules, prospecting in one of the modules. And the presenter is, in fact, Diane McCoy, who heads up our training and our fabulous group of career development coaches, does quite a bit of that training and is very good about mixing the practice and the activity, the homework, the filling out, the things that are done. And it needs to be done so that they can absorb it. It's just that simple to me. So if we really thought that we could take a 60-hour program, 5 hours a day, 2 days a week, 6 weeks, and if we really thought we could teach them every single experience they're ever going to have their entire real estate career, well, I guess we'd be wrong. What we want to give them is the experiences they need to have, the first experiences. You know, here's what you're going to encounter first. And as I said earlier, the 40 days that I suggest need to be a balance of training and coaching and activity. So be careful in these 40 days that it isn't just training. They need to then do something with that training. They need to be coached with the activities that it takes to be a successful agent. But training is essential. It is essential, and it leads us to the accountability learning activity schedule. And that's my next thought. This business about accountability with a new agent, this is a very serious thing they've decided to do. When we hire a new associate, I think we have a profound responsibility to see that they get the things that they need to be successful. And the reason that I do is we have agents that use of all their savings. They leave jobs where there was actually a thing called a paycheck. They ask their family to support them when their hours just turn upside down, when the weekends are no longer the time mommy has off, or the late nights become usual. And because of that, accountability is going to be key. Those reasons that we're trying to overcome for why they might not succeed in real estate, setting up accountability will take care of a lot of those problems, because they've been given the impression this is a laissez-faire business and that you choose your own hours and you make your own plan. And in fact, we say things like, be your own boss. And you're going to pull them in, and after that orientation, and you establish what will be the meeting time that is outside of their training commitment, but is their commitment to you to get their career off to the proper start. You're going to start with establishing the accountability, and you're going to get their agreement that they want to be held accountable. You've got to have their permission so that you can then demand their actions. You can check up on them. You can see if they're doing it, and it's okay with them because they gave you permission. Accountability is a way that a new agent can track their own progress, because it normally does come with a daily work plan, a to-do list, the things that we give them that make it make more sense for them to go to the mall and give out 5 cards, do the things that they're going to agree with you, or the activities they need to do. In this coaching part of your responsibilities because you have adopted this new associate and taken their lives in your hands is this learning that requires practicing dialogues, practicing listing presentations, listening to videos of experts who know how to do it right and will share that willingly. Nobody wants to give you their listing presentation. Nobody feels not embarrassed to have to sit there and tell you the things they're going to say. So it seems only fair that any of these things you would ask this trainee to do, you have to do too. If they come in and you want them next week to give you their listing presentation, then this week you should be giving them your listing presentation. Give them a way to have a track to run on, practice that is relevant, things that they need to hear. I think that helps a lot. I think that they realize we're in this together. Dialogues, scripts, new agents love having the dialogues and the scripts because this is an experience they've never had before and they don't know what to do about it. So if they have words, if we're going to do calling, then let's do it all together. But create the action plan. Create an activity schedule. I think an activity schedule in this 40 days has to be, and this is part of the accountability commitment, they should have an open house every single weekend. I really think they should have 2 open houses every single weekend, but our inventory is so light, I would might, maybe now, an open house. But if you've picked this for your career, you got to be out there working. And an open house will always put you in front. I always say you haven't really started in real estate till you've made a fool of yourself 2 or 3 times. Well, open house is a good place to start. Meet strangers. Talk about real estate. Find out what they want to have happen. It's the most excellent training venue. And then, of course, there's the wonderful side benefit. We pick up a lot of business at those open houses. They should be wandering around giving away business cards. Maybe not because they think that somebody will do business with them, but because it builds confidence. It builds chit-chat. It helps you to be able to just talk to a stranger. So you give out your cards. We give them a box of cards when they join. Those cards shouldn't all be still in that box after 40 days. They should be gone. So the 40 days is, to me, as I said, it's the activity, the learning, the practicing, the accountability. And I end with my last slide, which is actually key. And that is, by the end of those first 40 days, they should have a client manager. It should be loaded with their contacts. They should have a plan to get leads, because I would like them well on their way to that first transaction, or already have it in the bag by the end of this 40 days. It will change everything for them. It will make all that training and learning begin to click into place. It will be the reason they will pay more attention to how you write a contract. It will mean so much. So if NAR, Game Changer Steve Murray survey, every agent survey comes back over and over and over. In fact, the source report in my company of where agents get their business. Personal contacts, it's always number 1. So if your job in the first 40 days is to get them going as fast as possible, in the right direction as possible, wouldn't it start by making sure they have a plan to log in those clients, come up with a way to reach those people, touch those friends, touch those family members? Probably a 90-day business plan is a good way to get started, so that they actually have created a list of the things that they will do over the 90 days, and that list would start with mailing announcements, 10 at a time, so that they can call and ask if they got them and what do they think, and this is so exciting and I cannot wait, and do you know anybody that might need to buy or sell a home? Get them started with that in those first 40 days when you still have that excellent accountability relationship with that trainee, and you will get them off to the right foot. I also think all the tools that we have, millions, oh my goodness, we have so many tools that an agent can use to be more successful. It's during this 90-day plan that they will begin to see why we have the tool and how they can use it. That's when it's the right time to start teaching them all the ins and outs of all the things that we have. But I believe that everything that I've just run through circles around this last thought, that if you would like great, successful agents well on their way to productivity and loyalty and income, follow the system, follow it the same for everybody, but always be sure that it includes a deep conversation of where they can get their business, and have they written the names down, and can they make a plan for how to contact them. So those are my thoughts for this ever important first 40 days.
Thank you very, very much, Marilyn. And as I summarize, I see some questions coming in, so I'm going to wait till there's a few more questions, and then I'll put them back to you, Marilyn. But thank you very, very much. And I guess the key things I heard were that you absolutely commit to the new agents, you feed it to them as they need it, and you're so focused on getting those transactions. And as I was listening to you, I thought, if I had a new agent and all I thought about is get a listing, get a sale, 40 days, get a listing, get a sale, 40 days. Everything that I do will zero in on that. And I know when I was training director, if you could get a transaction into them right away, they would really, really do well. So I agree with that being a total focus as soon as possible. And I remember the pride of putting my first listing and sale on the board. That's key.
Yes.
In fact, Marilyn, it reminds me when I first did training, I was so excited to teach all the advanced stuff. I remember I would do stuff on behavioral styles. I'm going to admit something I've never admitted to a group before. I actually had a training session where I did something for Dress for Success, but I actually talked about what you should wear on television so it doesn't ring on TV, different patterns. And I'm so embarrassed to have taught that. But I'm just going to admit that I wanted to be so cool to teach all this advanced stuff when in fact, as you point out, give them the bite-sized stuff, the things that we use right now, like how to fill out a contract. And I like the designing their situations, role plays, having experience. I've been a fan of role playing forever, so I'm happy that you're doing that. And I think, Marilyn, the other thing, how do you get I'm going to ask, I guess, this question. How do you get permission from the agents? Is it in writing or verbal?
The accountability needs to be in writing. We have forms, and our career coaches have forms that they start this coaching part with them, and it does get their signature that they will be accountable.
Good. And the other part you mentioned right after accountability is that your responsibility, our responsibility. You've hired these people, you have their lives in your hands. So to just hire somebody and hope they sell something is really malpractice. So I think that's a good reminder too that this is serious stuff. We're taking care of some people. I'm going to just go down some questions. One, Marilyn, Kathy asked if you would mind sharing these slides. Is it okay if I give this PowerPoint to our members?
Oh, I'd be delighted.
Okay. Well, then that leads me to a new feature we're working on in our training. I've been wanting forever to have a resources library for just managers and administrators, and it's up and running in beta form, and we're going to try to get that up so we can post this recorded webinar and things like that so you guys can log in and get resources. So I don't think I'm ready to show it today. I just did a check with Rob, and I guess we're not quite ready. In fact, let me go down and unmute Rob and see if he has we've got so many people on the call that
Hi, David. I can hear you.
Oh, good. Rob, when's that feature going to be up where we can distribute things like this to our members?
Well, I just talked to the developer, and it's online. It's actually a button that you will find under your videos. It's the last button that you'll see under Browse All Videos. It's a button called Resources.
Okay.
It's not populated as much as we want, but there are a few links there, and it's the same links that you will find when you go to videos and you click on what's new for that current month for December, let's say. So all of those assets and content will be in under that button called the resources.
Yeah, and when's that going live?
That should be live now, I believe, for all the admins. So
Yeah,
they should be seeing those now. According to our developer, he has those online.
Okay.
Let me know if that's not the case. Certainly, it's rob@davidknox.com, or if you have any questions about it, send me an email.
Okay. Well, so everybody who's listening, we're close on that feature, and those listening to it on recording, it'll probably be good by then. Now to some questions. Marilyn, we had a question on what CRM do you use? I get that all the time.
Yes, and it's really interesting. That's an interesting question. We've been using, because we're Better Homes and Gardens, we're able to use their greenhouse, which has the CRM where we're loading all the data, all their contacts. But I will tell you, in the offices, when we polled everyone, there were quite a few that were used. But with the new associates, when I'm making reference to what we want to get going right away, it would be the greenhouse. So that would only be for Better Homes and Gardens.
Yeah, okay. So I guess the answer is for those of you who have company proprietary systems, that's going to be the first choice.
Yes.
In fact, if anybody else in general out there wants to just post here what CRM you think, of course, Top Producer, that has always been kind of the big one for
Right.
agents. Let's see. Michelle asks, how are you keeping the new agents focused, engaged on the action plan, videos, and role plays? Good question.
How are we keeping them engaged?
Focused and engaged on the action plan, videos, and role plays.
If we hire the right people, as long as we don't blow it with reason number 10, they want to be engaged. And when they are not engaged, the things I've noticed, like there's too many meetings, there's too much thrown at them. I think if they really have a time and they come and it's brief and they get interactive right away and they practice and with their peers, by the way, there's just no better way to do a role play than two new agents doing it with each other, because they're not as embarrassed. And I just think part, again, is the accountability. If we can but the ones that can't do it, they can't stay. That's another thought, David.
Yeah,
once you do create that accountability and you have expectations and they've been given those, they will disappear for you and you won't have to take care of it.
Right.
Realize they can't do it.
I think part of the answer that I heard you say is that you're doing it in groups. So, Michelle, maybe that's part of the answer, is that you can't rely on anybody to do anything on their own. You're doing it in some of these group meetings, and that way they can't not do it. Michelle also said her CRM is called Boomtown. So there's one. Let me see Tess. Tess says we have our own CRM. Getting them to put names in is one of my modules in a room. We sit together, take turns calling family, friends.
Oh, good.
Questions we need to enter the data. We call it Hotbox. Well, and again, this has come up a number of times that, having them sit down in a group and do it together, working out, exercising, sometimes it's easier to do it together, but have them do it right there. I think that's really good. By the way, Marilyn, if you would back up maybe to the slide of the 10 reasons they don't make it, maybe just leave that up there. We've had a couple requests to see that. I think there. Good. You can just leave it there. You had all 10 of them. When you get back to that slide, just leave it so all of those are showing.
Coming.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, actually, when you go backwards, they show.
My only action slide.
Yeah.
I'm quite proud of it.
Yeah, good. Well, we'll keep that one there for that request. Let's see if anybody else. We have our own CRM platform too through Reliance, says Ernie. We have a lot of thank yous. Our CRM is proprietary for Client Connect platform. Yeah, I guess the answer here, a lot of companies have their own proprietary. So the only one I've heard about is, over the years I've known Top Producer. So in fact, just the fact we're having a lot of questions on it, that sounds like it might be a good topic for one of our Knox First Tuesdays. There any other Excel? I think Excel is a little bit harder to do searches and finds, but it is, once it's in Excel, you can send it anywhere. I'm going to
The Outlook, the Outlook contact
sure Outlook.
can certainly work.
Yep, there you go. I'm just checking Marilyn, see if there's any more questions popping up here. We had a great, you got record turnout, Marilyn. So thank you very much for that. Let me see if there's anything else on my list. Oh, for kicking off the year, if you guys will all take a look at Knox First Tuesday number 60, right in that area, we have a lot of videos, and we have an Excel spreadsheet where people can type in their average sale price, commission splits, things like that, and compute their income. So we have another. Debbie May says our MLS has a great contact database. So there's some places to get it. Well, to all of you, as Thanksgiving wraps up here for me, I am very thankful for all of you, for all of your business. I'm looking forward to launching some really cool things in 2015. Keep you guys focused, keep our pulse on the market. And as always, I'm ready for your suggestions and input on Knox First Tuesdays or Real Estate Lives, whatever topics you'd like us to do to keep you having a great 2015. I think as the interest rates kind of sneak up a little bit, it could be good because it'll get buyers off the fence and get people going. I was talking to one of our favorite top producers, Bob Wolf, and he says the upper end is really, 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 really selling well in Southern California. So hopefully that'll bring everybody up. And Terry Tess just asked, is this every Monday? It's every first Monday is our administrator webinar. So to all of you, thank you very, very much. You can reach me, David at davidknox.com. And if you'd like me to come in by a webinar or Skype or something in late, I was finishing a sentence and reading a question. If you'd like me to come into your offices, I love to do that. And this has been recorded, so we're going to post that in the next day or so. And I see a lot of people saying thanks. Somebody's wishing me a nice trip back to cold Minnesota. And one final question, are you going to do a special prep on business planning? We've already done it. Check out the Knox First Tuesdays. I think it's around KFT 59 and 60. So Marilyn, thank you again very much. Thank you all for being members. And I wish you a really, really wonderful holiday season. Thanks so much.
Thanks, David.
Thank you, Marilyn.